All right, it's a couple of minutes after 1. Everybody got a seat? Oh, looks good. All right, let's begin. If you'll stand with me, we'll have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come to you today confused and frustrated and weary and anxious, and we just pray for your calm to be present not only in this room but throughout this community. We just lift up this current situation with the coronavirus and just ask for your supernatural blanket of protection over this community, over each household, each business. We pray especially for those that are being dramatically financially impacted, whether it's individuals or whether it's businesses, and we just pray for a rapid restoration. We don't know what that will look like, but we just trust in you and rely upon you to deliver what is needed as we move forward day by day. We thank you that we have not been overwhelmed in our community, and we just pray that that will continue. Be with our first responders and especially those that work in the medical field. And we just pray that you will keep our hospitals and medical providers safe from any kind of infection. We turn this agenda now over to you and pray that you will show us in the days ahead how to conduct our lives. In Christ's name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, for those of you in our audience that are watching on YouTube or maybe watching on Tri-County Press, welcome to our meeting that looks a little strange. Obviously, we're doing our best to conduct essential business and yet maintain a safe distance between one another. I appreciate everyone making those accommodations. Today is the 23rd of March, 2020. It's just after 9 a.m. We're gathering today for our second normal regular meeting of the Commissioners Court. I'll begin with item number 1, public comments, requests for information on non-agenda items. If there is anyone that would like to address the court at this time, or you may wait until your interested agenda item comes up. And I have asked for, I gave you the sign-up sheet. Do you think you've got a good roster of everybody that's here? I just didn't want to leave that out for everybody to use the same pen. All right, we'll move on to item number 2, consider and possibly approve minutes from our last meeting 2 weeks ago, March 9th, 2020.
Make that motion.
A motion for approval of that set of minutes is made by Commissioner Applewhite.
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor of the approval of those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 3 is a report from commissioners regarding road work going on within their precinct. I'll start down here at the table with Commissioner Fitch.
All right, we finished up a head wall on a culvert on 2910, got it all completed, and we've been working on ditches and drainage on 2325, 2300, and 1140. We also had to keep the bridge cleaned off after the last flooding on 1220, and we've been doing a lot of patching and potholing and side cutting going on.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Riddle.
We've mostly been hauling wrap, cleaning ditches, cleaning and unstopping drain, stopped up culverts, and just patching the road.
Okay.
And we've been hauling wrap all last week and week before
Pull that
last.
mic up to you, would you?
Okay. We was out last week hauling wrap and getting ready to try to do something with these roads that got bad potholes and stuff in them. Right now we're just gonna reuse the wrap and fill them in because it's just getting too expensive to keep putting asphalt in these holes and stuff. So we're gonna try to control them with this for a little while. put some culverts in, fixed some culverts, and took out some, cleaned out some culverts that were stopped up.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Parker?
Been cleaning out some ditches down 4950 and 4710. Been hauling route mostly last week with all the rain. Seems like that's the easiest thing for us to do when it is. And this week we're going to try to do some patching all over the precinct. So hopefully we'll get some of that taken care of.
You've all talked about hauling wrap, and we're talking about transporting wrap from the central location owned by TxDOT to a convenient spot for your precinct.
We've actually been hauling off 259 down at White Oak down there where it's a little bit closer and we don't have to come back through Mount Pleasant and all rather than using the pit that I think the rest of them are using out here on 271.
But the idea is to bring it from the central
to our yard.
TxDOT location to a place more convenient for your day-to-day operation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
We got a certain time to get it out from their place over there.
A date that we have to have it gone by? What's that date?
He hadn't actually given me a date. He just told me as quick as we could get through with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Item number 4, discuss moving a portion of the district clerk's office to the former tax collection area in the annex with possible action to follow. Marcus came to me with this last week, and so that's why it's on the agenda. He has since asked me to ignore that item. I believe he's found another way. He was considering moving some of his operation. I don't know if it was one person or just himself over there into the old tax collection office there in the annex, but he has made a change there. He could possibly bring this issue up back at a later date, but for now he has found a workaround and will not need your action there. So I would ask that we just take no action on that. I don't even know that we need to table it until he brings it back, since he has specifically asked me to do that. So let's go ahead and get a motion to table this.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Applewhite.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5, consider and possibly approve Nate Preford as the Titus County representative on the board of Northeast Texas Regional Mobility Authority for a 2-year term. His 2-year term that we last appointed him to has expired, and I have talked to Nathan. He is willing to continue this if you are willing to allow him to stay in that position.
Make a motion we approve, Nathan.
Motion by Commissioner Parker.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Fitch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6, likewise, and we've been utilizing Dr. Burling for the past week or so, but consider and possibly approve the reappointment of Dr. Chris Burling, one of our local general practice doctors, as our Titus County health official for a 2-year term. He has agreed to do this and has been in attendance on the phone and in a meeting that we had last week, and is a good participant for us during this time. So I would ask you to reappoint him for a 2-year term.
Make that motion.
Motion's made by Commissioner Fitch.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor of approval of Dr. Burling as Titus County health official, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 7, discuss any county proclamation related to the COVID-19 with possible action to follow. As most of you know, back on last Thursday, I signed a declaration that's been made public. That has a 7-day life. We know that we need to continue it on beyond this coming Thursday. I'm going to ask you to continue this on until April 3rd for the time being. I don't know what we'll do come April 3rd, but that seems to match a lot of what others are doing. And let's give it an extension here while we're gathered together, rather than bringing you back for an emergency meeting, which can always happen. Please be aware of that. But if you will officially extend the 7-day declaration that I made last week on I think that was the 18th, up until the end of day on April 3rd.
Make that motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Applewhite,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parker. Any question about this? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 8, discuss county operations in light of coronavirus or COVID-19 with possible action to follow. This is just a general time of discussion if anybody has questions or comments. Obviously, there's a lot of questions amongst our county officials about the operations within their individual offices, and I've had several conversations. I'm not making any decision right now to tell them what to do different. I'm just going to continue to ask that each elected official be very cognizant about the health of their staff, but just as important, the health of the general public. Consider your work environment. Consider the way that your office is set up. Consider the accessibility to the general public, and make wise decisions as to how you interact with one another and with the general public. Most of our offices, not all, have got a glass barrier. That's one of the benefits that we never knew we would enjoy when we put those up. But we do have some separation there. We have separation amongst employees. I have not studied each and every department, but again, I ask that you take into consideration what the governor has requested, what I have requested, and maintain social distancing. Do not engage in operations that are going to compromise or jeopardize that. If you have a special situation that you want to talk about, I'll be glad to discuss that with you. We can involve the auditor's department. We can involve John Coburn, who has been very active with me on a daily basis with this and talking about different situations that may come up. So if you feel the need to discuss something or are unsure, please give me a call and let's discuss that. Anybody in here have a question about this or want to comment or discuss, this is a good time to do it. All right. Well, and again, if you don't want to talk about this openly or don't have anything to discuss right now, please know that I'm very available and we can discuss specific situations. David is doing an outstanding job, as well as Rilva, keeping our hard surfaces clean, and I know that most departments have taken special actions to protect their staff. Even signage on the door declaring that their offices are closed to the general public. So they're still working inside of their offices. They have work to do, but there are other ways that we can interact with the public other than just having the standard continuous flow. And we'll figure out what that best way is together. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to all of our businesses. I cannot imagine the difficulties that some of them are facing right now, and I can't even begin to list completely all the different types of business that are dramatically affected, and even on a day-to-day basis, losing revenue, losing business for one day can be very difficult, much less weeks at a time. Our restaurants are suffering, our event centers are suffering, those that just engage in all sorts of services for the general public that have had to or have made the decision to close down. They are certainly hoping for an end to this, and the sooner that we all band together and are strict with our public interaction, the sooner we can break this curve and hopefully chart a course for getting back to normal.
I do have a question on that.
Yes, ma'am.
It gets to the point where the offices are shut down and employees are sent home. Are they paid during that time?
We haven't even discussed that subject at this time, but logic would tell you that if that is a county-wide order, then yes, that would probably be the case. But we have not gotten to the point of even discussing that, and hope that we don't have to, but things are changing so quickly, and we're doing things today that we didn't think we'd be doing last Friday, certainly not Monday. So we take it one step at a time. Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm quite sure that there will be directives from the state that are available for a decision, something like that. Anyone else? All right, item number 9 and 10 are some rather important items. I certainly don't want to stifle any conversation on either of these two. I would certainly hope that we're not going to take any serious action on either one of these without being back to a more routine here in this meeting so that the general public could address these. But they will be able to hear your comments, anything that you want to discuss on either of these. I'll begin with item number 9. This is an item that's been on several agendas, and that is discuss the sale of the Riddle Street building with possible action to follow. Commissioner Fitch brought this to the court, I guess, a couple of meetings ago and had some suggestions and was obviously interested in selling this building. Commissioner Riddle has got some paperwork here. Commissioner Fitch, I'll start with you, but I want to give you both an opportunity to talk about this.
What I found out since I talked to a appraisal company for commercial buildings in Dallas, that the building's it's a good investment. It's worth quite a bit. We're making good money on it with the lease, and at this time I don't feel that it'd be a good decision to sell that building. And if we did sell it, put money in the bank, we wouldn't get any interest for it. So it's actually making the county good money as an investment right now. So I can let everybody else talk on this subject too before we make any motions on it, but I'd like to make a motion to just table the issue for now.
Commissioner Riddle, you've taken some time to put together some paperwork here for us. What if anything, would you like to do?
Well, the first thing I'd like to do is, when Commissioner Fitch come to court 2 meetings ago, as you mentioned, he had this building for sale, and he even had a price. And when I asked him why he had picked out the Riddle Street building to sell, he said he didn't know. People just told him that we had too much real estate. So how in the world, with that statement, can you come up with a price? You even made a motion to get it sold and then a price. So I decided at that time that we need more information about the real estate, the county, and we should study it and decide what our situation was, rather than just, I don't know how Fitch could come up with that kind of information, but he must have got it from somewhere. It's a puzzle to me. Anyway, I've tried to make each piece of property, and I've made a little menu, and I've got all the information about the Riddle Street building, and I've got all the about the meal center on Edward Street.
Well, we're not here to discuss those. We're here to talk about the Riddle Street.
The Riddle Street building. Well, I think, no, I'm suggesting to you in this court that we get somebody to study these things before and get some information before we bring it to the court and make a table to sell it. We should learn more about this, and I've tried to furnish you a piece of paper to tell you about some of them. There's some of them I don't know about. We're not talking about Titus County Courthouse. I don't know what our situation. I don't know about our property that we own, that the ag building is in. But we should know all of these things before we start making motions to sell property. That's the only thing I'm trying to do, is trying to get us involved instead of just somebody coming out of the blue. Okay? That's all.
Did you ever have the Riddle Street building for sale?
No, I didn't have any motions on selling it, but we had motions on looking into what it was worth, maybe getting it appraised. So I did get it appraised. A lady looked at it in
publicly-
Dallas.
Did you ever publicly put out a price on this building?
No, and so
You didn't,
even the appraisal, it was good though. The lady came back. Of course, I would want even more appraisals on it before we ever even decide to sell anything, but her initial appraisal was good. She said the building's worth about $350,000, which is good.
Well,
She
you-
said with that lease, it's worth another about $100,000, so about $450,000 to $455,000. Whether that's inflated or that's a good price, I'm not sure unless I would check with other people. But really, at this time in the market, everything that's going on, what we have in the building, and it's such a good moneymaker for us right now. That's why I'm just going to table it. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to sell the building. After I checked into it, I had some. I've had people ask me. My reasoning was for the last several years, people talk about real estate and why we have real estate. So we check into why we have real estate. Do we have real estate, such as that? So this building had come up several times, and so that's why I checked on it. And I feel I'm happily concerned. I mean, I'm happily content with just dropping the matter altogether and tabling it at this time. And if anybody on this court decides, we need to look into that building or look into any other properties, then that's what this court's for. We can.
Did you ever hear any of the commissioners express an interest in selling that building?
No, I hadn't really talked to nobody because we don't just meet at the Dairy Queen. In fact, it's closed down anyway, so we have to meet in court. So I usually bring everything up in court. That's why I even mentioned in my comments the 2 weeks before we even had anything to do with this building in an official meeting that I was checking into it. So no, it's just me pretty much by myself just checking into it. So like we do on lots of things. So I'd like to just make a motion to table it for now.
well, before that, you didn't,
just a
are
second.
you saying you didn't have a price of $241,000?
No, sir. That is what we
That's not
have
in-
in the building through the auditor's office. That's how much money that the county has on record that we have in that building.
But you didn't
Whether
mention
that's
that.
correct or not, I'm not going to back that up. I'm just saying what's on record that we have is $241,000. What we have. So at least if we were going to sell anything, we sure want to get our money back, no doubt. So.
You didn't make the motion
No,
to sell
no,
it for
sir. There's no
$241,000.
motion made to sell it at that. No, sir.
Okay,
No,
well,
sir.
I'm glad we recorded.
Had no clue what to offer it at or bid it or auction
I think you
it.
need to go back and listen to those recordings, because at no time did he suggest a sale price of $250,000.
241, that's what he suggested.
Sir?
241,000.
No, sir, he did not. You need to listen to those recordings.
I will.
He did not say that, and nobody, that would not have made sense.
That's right.
And you said we need to sell it for more than we have in it. Everybody was in agreement. But it seems a shame to me that we can't bring up a subject for this group of 5 people to discuss without reading into it their intentions or their motives and trying to label them as doing something foolish or inappropriate. He simply brought this, as I recall, and I've listened to it again, to the court because he has heard expression of interest in selling that building. You, of all the people in this room, have been the most proponent of selling that building over the last several years. So it seems strange to me that all of a sudden you've moved 180 degrees against the sale of this building when you yourself have touted for years we need to sell this excess real estate. And to me, it seems like you have read motives into Commissioner Fitch's intentions here that simply aren't there. As I see it, he's responding to comments from the public, and when that happens, it only makes sense to bring it to a public discussion here among the 5 of us. Nobody's made any decisions. We've only discussed it. We've tabled it, and we've tabled it, and here we're going to table it again, and that's fine.
Well, that's strange that that I don't agree that we should be in the real estate business. You thought at one time it was illegal for us to be in the real estate business, but I found out I was wrong. That was on the real estate.
No,
but no, you've never ever said that. But you've said that we've got this real estate. You've said the other day that we do need to sell some real estate. it's strange that you wanted, twice you
no,
wanted.
sir, I didn't say we
Well, you
need to
didn't-
sell some real estate.
Well,
I did not say that.
okay.
I don't personally believe that.
You don't believe that
I
we
don't
got...
believe we have one piece of real estate that needs to be sold.
Okay. Well, I don't either, because of the Riddle Street building is all of them. And I have reasons that I've printed in and give you a copy of all the real estate, except the ones I didn't know about.
But would you agree at one point you were in favor of selling the real estate?
I'm still in favor of selling it if we can get our money back. But on that Riddle Street property is the only piece of property we got that's creating income. And just like John said, the investor, the salesman told him, we should keep it. But till it's paid for, till we get our money, if we can't sell it for what we've got in it. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. But anyway, but you've tried 2 times in the last 3 years to get us to buy the building next to the jail. So that would add to our real estate holdings. I don't know why.
No, sir, I haven't tried that.
Well, we've had it in...
Ingram came and talked to you about it.
We've talked about it another time in the court.
I don't recall discussing that property in 3 years.
Really?
I don't recall it, and that was
Well,
the sheriff. The sheriff eventually came to you and said, there's too many problems with that building. I don't want to buy it. That was the end of that subject.
About 2 or 3 years ago, you don't remember coming to the court?
I remember Sheriff Ingram coming to the court
and that somebody had
expressing interest in buying that building, and after he did some research, he told the court, there's too many problems with that building. I'm not interested. Thank you very much. If the subject was closed, never has been brought up again.
That was this year. That's within the last year that happened,
No.
that you're discussing.
No.
When Ingram wanted to buy it and we had it appraised,
Been at least 2 years.
well,
Probably
you don't
3
remember.
years.
You don't remember coming to in the court saying to the court that somebody had signed a lease to buy it for $150,000, but they'd give it to the county if we wanted to buy it. You don't remember that?
I absolutely remember that about 3 years ago.
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
And I was never the proponent of buying that building. The sheriff came to us and gave his reasons why he thought it would be a good purchase. But after he investigated, he changed his mind. That was it. So, again, I'm not here to vilify any of you. We're here to discuss, and we make decisions based upon the 5 of us casting our votes. And for Commissioner Fitch to have brought this subject up and to be castigated about it, it seems ridiculous. This is not how we conduct business. And at the point where any of you feel like we need to buy or sell something, or anything else for that matter, we're going to bring it to the court. And we're going to let the court discuss it and make a decision. He's made a motion today to table this. There doesn't seem to me to be anybody here that's pushing for the sale of this building. So do we need to discuss it anymore?
I did have a comment.
Okay, and I'm sorry, and Denise has asked to discuss this subject, so if there's anything else, save that and we'll come back to it. Why don't you come up here and
I just wanted, John and whoever, the whole Commissioner Court, I want to address this. I went and talked to Susan Lewisburg at the employment office. She was very fearful of the building being sold without them being contacted. I think that y'all do need to address that issue with them, since she's got personnel there and such, before it's put out that, oh, it's for sale, and then it's on the agenda. She's like, am I not going to have a building for my employees? So with that contract being in place, she said, we pay faithfully. And she said they should at least respect us in that area. There are some items that need to be fixed over there. She's not brought them to the court because she was fearful that y'all would say that they were costing you money. even though there's some things, especially the end of the parking lot right now, it has been filled in one time, but it's back to a big hole. She said that Judge Lee had taken care of that at one time, but they can't even go in and out on that entrance or exit. There's other things in there that they've not complained about, but they would like, there is a list of things. They don't want to look as a hindrance. They are paying the county very well, a rental that brings in money. They are our only building that brings in a good rental payment every month. So before we put a scare to that particular entity, talk to them, okay? Because she said she was very upset about not being talked to before that it went to public. So if you would just address that with her, okay?
Susan Lewisburg has my number and my email, and she communicates with me about other items. She's never contacted me about that. But I will say that her boss, Randy Reed, and I do talk frequently. We see each other once a month, and he asked me about that, and I told him this matter was brought up for discussion. I said, Randy, I can assure you that no serious action will be taken on that building until you are fully plugged in. So Randy Reed knows exactly what's going on here. This conversation has never elevated itself to the point where we have decided we're going to sell that building. I keep hoping that it won't, and that we realize what a good thing that we've got there and quit this talk about selling it. But several folks, and as I recall, even you had expressed some interest in selling that building at one time. No, okay.
I don't want to be in the real estate business for myself or for the county. So that's
Well, and that implies you think we should sell the building? Is that not what?
not when you have an entity bringing in more income.
Very good. I think we're all on the same page. That's good news.
It's not an argument. We're just trying to make sure that it's in the minutes so that John knows that next time he might want to just make sure you respect everybody.
We did communicate, so I knew that. I knew all that. I already knew that, so we're good.
That's right.
I just make a motion we don't sell the building. How about that? Let's just drop it from now on. I mean, tabling it might leave some suspicion that I have some plan up my sleeve or something,
Okay, well, nobody is
some evil plan plot to take over the building. So let's just, right now, I want to make a motion that we do not sell the Riddle Street
Okay,
building.
well, you
at this
already had a
time.
motion out there. You're changing,
Repeal it.
You're changing your motion to,
Yes.
You're making a motion that we not sell the Riddle Street.
Amen to
building.
that.
Okay.
Okay, are we gonna, and when they come up here with, to fix stuff, are we gonna tell them no, or are we gonna fix it?
We're going to fix it like we always do.
Because
That's
we
our
had,
investment.
that's what I'm saying, either we do it the right way or we don't do it at all. Because, that building is essential, because I hate to see people have to go out of town to do all this stuff, and we need that building. We need those people in that building. But when we got to go fix something, I don't want to hear somebody, well, we're not going to liable for that. But that is our building, and we need to pay for it. That's all.
Yeah. And they have not been denied one repair request, and I will follow up with a conversation with Randy and with Susan and make sure that they understand that they're not getting all the story. This was nothing more than a discussion, and at the point where they needed to be brought in, they would, but this is the decision as of today, and that we will continue our policy to keep that building in the shape that they need it in. And we spent quite a bit of money on that building, making repairs. We made a major change back there on the back. We removed a lot of that, a lot of the vegetation that was causing problems. We put in some gravel back there. We changed AC units, plumbing issues, roof issues. We take care of that building. We are responsible landlords on that building, and I believe that they are happy tenants. At least that is what they have told me.
And we even took trees off to keep the rats and stuff out.
Did that? That's right. Okay, got a motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor of the motion to take the Riddle Street building off the table as far as selling it, and the motion is not to sell the Riddle Street building. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Item number 10, discuss expansion of the westbound inspection way station with possible action to follow. Everybody here on the court is aware of this. We've had discussions with DPS, with TxDOT, and with the Commissioner's Court, probably about 4 meetings over the last year and a half or so. And the subject was first brought up by the Department of Public Safety. Major Nordlow came up from Austin and shared with us his interest, and in fact DPS's interest in expanding the capabilities of our weigh station, specifically the westbound weigh station on the north side of the interstate. His belief that this is a key entry point into the state, and that's a valuable asset that we have there, and it could be increased to a 40-hour-a-week operation with quite a few more people working there. And there is modern technology that would enable DPS to check a lot more vehicles. They could make an exit and be automatically weighed without even coming to a stop. They can be measured without coming to a stop. They could be waved on to get right back on the interstate with appropriate signage after those weighs and measures are made, or they could be pulled over for further inspection. One of the additional things they would like to have out there is a pit where the inspectors could get down below the vehicle and check out the cab and the chassis and the trailer itself. And with that would come the need for a covered area, a covered building where they could do these inspections out of the rain, out of the sun. Obviously not a cheap project. We met with, for the most recent figures from TxDOT, we met with them that last week or the week before, and this is a project that's probably in the neighborhood of $6 million. The majority of that cost would be concrete. By the time you built the appropriate exit and entry ramps there, you widened the inspection area, built the pits, lots of concrete there, a very large covered building, in fact 2 covered areas where the pits would be, where the initial inspections would be done. And the big question now is, how is this going to be paid for? There's obviously encouragement from DPS for the county to pay a portion. DPS will staff the facility. DPS will pay for the modern electronics that will go into that facility. And then we have TxDOT, who has done the preliminary drawings and schematics for it. But this is not a project that's on TxDOT's plans. And so even though at $6 million, a relatively small amount for TxDOT, the question still remains, who is going to pay for something like this? While we have not talked about the additional revenue that such a facility would bring in, it would be a significant revenue generator for the county with the inspections that are done and with fines that are issued at that facility. Will it be enough to offset the cost to the county if the county were to pick up a significant part of this? I don't know. I'm just not sure that now is the right time to be talking seriously about moving forward with that project, but at the same time I don't want to say we are not interested. I put this on here not expecting any action, and in fact after we discuss this I'm going to ask that you table this, but I would like to know what your impressions are thus far after meeting multiple times, and see if you have any interest in pursuing a project like this, see if you would have any interest in allocating county funds for a project like this.
I guess I don't even understand why that they even want the county to pay part of this, or why they even bring it. DPS is responsible for the safety of the road, and the only thing an inspection will do, and all the automation might save them manpower, DPS manpower, would make it safer, might find a truck that's not safe and get him off the road. That's their job. TxDOT is responsible for pouring the concrete and building the buildings. And we're not, why is the county why are they even coming to this county? We get a small portion of the fines, and that major that came from Austin said that DPS did not give tickets to generate revenue, and that was against their policy or against the law. So I don't know that the little fines that we get, the percentage of fines we get, it'd take a long, long time to pay for $1 million. I mean, years and years and years to do it. I don't know why they come in. Is Franklin County going to participate? Hopkins County, just Titus County. They didn't, Bowie County, nobody else is going to be involved in this. The counties, it's just, and then again, it's just like other offices we furnish DPS. We have no control. We don't even know whether the employees come to work, when they come to work, what they do. They're county employees. We pay them, pay their benefits, but we don't know what they do. At DPS, we got a clerk at the ag building, and I just can't see us being responsible for a whole crew. I don't see them out there very often making inspections. Of course, I don't go down that way very often. But anyway, I'm not against the county participating in financing that building. And TxDOT said at that meeting last Friday or Friday week that no financing was made available for this project. The lady started off the meeting by saying that, by the state. So I'm not for us participating in it and paying for it.
I think that they're interested in having the county participate in this financially because they do know that there will be some significant fine revenue that the county will receive. I have verified that talking with some other counties that have similar facilities there. I don't know that we can quantify that. I think that that's TxDOT's justification, or excuse me, DPS's justification for asking the county to participate there, and I think that that's reasonable. But I also agree Titus County shouldn't be the only one to bear a significant burden of the cost of that facility if this is going to be something that will benefit the entire state, certainly Northeast Texas. And I've expressed that to Major Nordlow that we certainly are not going to be willing to pay the lion's share of a project like this. And TxDOT, as far out as they have to plan, it's going to be several years before they're going to have the money for something like this. And I'm not even sure that TxDOT is going to see a real need for TxDOT funds to be used for this. This seems to be something that would be of national interest, homeland security. There ought to be some participation there. Any of you other fellows have an opinion on this?
Is there any type of projections or anything as to what it might bring in? I mean, is there any way of getting any type of projections as to what it might bring in?
I think that perhaps you could find out what we're bringing in now and extrapolate what 5 times that would be. We don't see a lot of activity out there right now. Commissioner Riddle's absolutely right, but it's not a 40-hour-a-week facility at this time. They are proposing that it become a 40-hour-a-week facility out there, and so I believe that conservatively, the volume of trucks that are inspected out there would go up at least 5 times, if not 10 times. So can I extrapolate that? No, I can't. Yes, ma'am.
And the taxpayer, if we pay part of that, then I'm paying part of that. And I also have trucks that run across those scales, and I can assure you that if you drove a new truck off of the lot and went through an inspection, you run a chance of getting a hefty fine. They're going to find something. So you've got a lot of taxpayers around here that run those trucks, so they run a chance of a double whammy. Taxes on the truck, taxes on the property, and then the fines.
I don't know what their objectives are out there. It's my understanding and my hope would be to keep unsafe trucks off the road, not to generate revenue. But I certainly see your point.
I mean, our government has trucks before they leave, but they won't do their fines.
Anyone else? I need to tell Major Nordlow something. Is why I've got this on the agenda.
they just seem like they won't take no for an answer when we tell them we're not going to commit. So we left that meeting the other day. We're still not going to commit to this. And TxDOT wants to keep on going with their engineers. They may be at a stopping place now because
I think they're at a
that's a pretty good
stopping
plan they
place
came
right
up
now.
with.
I think
And,
we all needed to know.
Norlo gave me all those people to look up, all those grants to look up, federal motor freight grants and Homeland Security. I got a hold of everybody, and there's nothing out there. So Ray Wilson with Brian Hughes' office said there is some monies that they probably could tap into, and I said, you're going to have to tap into all of it because we're not going to be out a dime on this. We can't afford it. And so they're looking into it. I reached out to them Friday. Ray Wilson and Brian Hughes both texting and emailing both of those guys those figures. And I talked to Cole Hefner, and he's on the Transportation Committee, and he knows all about it, if he could help us in any way. I mean, I told him, we're not going to be out any monies on this. We don't feel like we need to be paying for the federal highway system and the state highway system to do their policing for them. So what the TxDOT, I mean, DPS says, you know, since we are making something off of this, or will make something off of this, well, we should obligate ourselves. But we don't have the money or the tax dollars to obligate. So as far as I'm concerned, I want to table this issue unless they come up with some kind of funds for it. That's their business.
So knowing that you would get some increased revenue, even that wouldn't spur you to consider a way to find some
I'm
money
not convinced
to
because
contribute.
that Seguin office that's opened up, it's so new and they don't have any figures, and I'm not sure if they can compare to what we're going to bring in that it'd be worth, you know, paying the interest on $6.8 million. So I'm not willing to take that chance right now.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
If anything, I need some money fixing my roads, much less work on the highway. But we got a lot of bad stuff, but you know, I don't think this is a very put on number one agenda. We just need to, like I said, John said, we're just going to have to, maybe we can get some funds out there.
Okay. So would it be a fair statement for me to report back to Major Nordlow that my commissioners are not supportive of Titus County dollars being spent on this?
Right now.
Does that reflect, I know that reflects your opinion.
Yeah.
Are you of the same mindset? Okay. All right. I will report that back to him and the action that you would like to take on this. How about what I would suggest is that you give me the authority to talk to Major Nordlow and just say that for now, the county does not feel like we have the resources to contribute to a project like this.
Make a motion you reach out to Ned Lowe and also Mike Anderson. Maybe give him a heads up on that in Atlanta.
All right.
And we table it this time.
Okay. Well, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. So just as a point of discussion, I do think that this would be a significant revenue source for us. I do think that more studies should be done. At some point, I do think that we could justify contributing toward the cost of this. I think it would be a real positive thing for the county, but I don't think that it should cost the county anything. And like you said, we don't know what kind of revenue could be brought in. So to try to quantify that and for the county to commit a dollar amount that might even require us to borrow money to do that would not be in our best interest at this time. All right, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 11, approve oral and written reports of county officials. Oh, I got it. Has everybody got one?
There's the next one there.
Everybody got one? You have one?
Okay, you get mine. You get mine. Slobbered all over.
Make a motion to approve the report.
Motion by Commissioner Fitch,
Second.
second by Commissioner Applewhite. Once again, bring your attention to the nice narrative that Barbara has put together for you. She's kind of giving you some updates on interest rates, but I'd like you to note and see about what we're getting on our idle funds. 1.75 to say 2.15 for 4 to 6 months CDs. We're still relatively conservative, but that's just the market right now. All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 12, Treasurer's Report.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Make that motion.
Motion to approve the Treasurer's Report is made by Commissioner Applewhite,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I'll need your signature on both of these. I'll start here. Item number 13, consider any budget amendments. There are no budget amendments today. Item number 14, sign pay orders and approve payment of bills.
Make a motion for pay bill.
Motion is for approval to pay those bills is made by Commissioner Parker,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 15, closing comments. Commissioner Fitch, anything to wrap up?
I don't have anything.
All right, Commissioner Parker,
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Applewhite.
I just want people to stay safe and, have prayers for everybody that's sick and hope that we'll make it through this one way or the other.
Commissioner Riddle.
None.
All right, thanks everybody for coming under these little bit different conditions. We'll continue to behave in this same style. Once again, just a word for folks out in the community. We know this is just absolutely brutal. You've got kids at home that can't go to school. You've got folks that are not used to having to pay for daycare for those kids. They're not even able to work themselves. And so this is a catastrophic financial impact to this community. And again, we just thank those that have cooperated. We haven't seen much in the way of blatant disregard for the governor's requests and for the county's declaration. I've got a conference call here in 3 minutes. We've got a large group here, including the city, the college, the schools, the hospital, emergency management. Chief McCrae has been a real valuable asset for us, helping to guide this. He's organized these conference calls, but there will be about 15 of us on this conference call, and we do this at 10 o'clock each day, and we will continue to do that. And I will rely heavily upon input from all of these entities before the county makes any further declarations. Dallas made a major move last night. You had Judge Jenkins there explaining what was going to happen, and this is very big for Dallas. We are still, we have yet to see our first confirmed case here in Titus County. We'll hope that that continues, and best practices that we all as citizens can do will further ensure that we minimize any real danger to our community, at least danger as far as getting the virus, and we want to protect our citizens from that. And we also want to get back to normal business as quickly as possible. And so, again, bear down during these tough times so that we can come out of this quickly. My office is available. My personal cell phone is available, 903-466-6666, if anybody needs to call me. All right, with that, I will bring our...
What about further meetings as a court?
Further meetings of the court, you mean as far as our next meeting in 2 weeks? Too early to say.
Okay.
And, unless anything changes, we will plan to have our meetings like this, but things are changing hourly and certainly daily, and we could be facing a totally different set of circumstances at that time. So I will keep you guys informed as soon as I know anything. All right? Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Motion and second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, thank you everyone for being here today.